and even if you were to have like a prompt of 10 different things, right? Like say if you had one prompt of like, oh, like here's 10 different personality traits, here's 10 different superpowers, here's 10 different drawbacks.
I like coming up with random list of powers and then just see what I come up with.
Imagine rolling just those things every single time. It's always going to vary. The possibility of that happening is, again, like a 1 in 10 chance, but it's like, it shows that there's an infinite
There's always something else cool right around the corner that we can come up with, because there's no end to the prompts. There's no end to what we can roll up.
Now we're going to be officially rolling for superpowers. This is usually the make or break.
Roll for hero.
Whoops.
Whoa. Hey.
There we go.
All right. We there?
Where?
Oh, there you go. Also, the chat's kind of showing off, but it's also looking like it's kind of like covering your face there.
Yeah, I got to fix it. Kyron changed it.
I want to make sure that we show all the nieces and nephews. And speaking of nieces and nephews, ayo and hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 0 of Roll for Hero, a segment of the channels in which we let the dice dictate what on God's green earth we will be drawing for today. But today is a special day, not just because it's a wonderfully whacked out, whimsical Wednesday with us, your two weird unks, aka me, your weird Uncle Lee, and of course, our big bearded, bald-headed, beautiful co-star. You know him, you love him. He is the artist for many awesome books, the fastest pen in indie comics, and not only that, the sexiest man in 1969, Mr. Fish.
What is up, everybody? Hello, Dragon Gaming. Good to see you. Glad everybody could join us today. Happy to be here. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. I forgot to get my page up and ready, so I'm doing that real quick.
All right, so for today's overall episode, so last season on Season 2, the final episode, we ended up rolling a brand new setting in which we will essentially be diving into for the next, 12 episodes. I use air quotations because today is going to be known as the episode 0 due to the fact that this was a very strange and particular situation here. Hey, howdy, hey, Jordan, how we doing today? Glad to see you here in every great way. Love to rhyme because I have the time. Anyways, so for today, we are going to basically kind of just start blobbing up, some little doodles and other things here and there because we rolled up in last season an entire sandal punk alien world. Now, at first, I wanted to try to come up with a bunch of lists and prompts to maybe generate like a particular like alien that we could then kind of like draw for the duration of the series, like, the equivalent of drawing the Na'vi from Avatar, where they kind of like have their own planet, and then we can probably do like different regional variants for them. But it was still like a work in progress idea. So we were still like, I was a little stuck on the situation. Then Mr. Fish and his beautifully bald head came up with the gracious and awesome idea to essentially, create a full blown like series of little doodles and blobs. And we're going to take those and we're going to see where it takes us. Because just like the dice, they're just as unpredictable, and, we're just rolling with what we got here. Ain't that right, Mr. Fish?
Exactly. And I like doing this as a creativity exercise anyway, and it's something that I wanted to take a chance to show off to you guys, and maybe you could have some fun with yourselves. But I like using it for coming up with ideas. Sometimes it ends up with really cool things that end up in Alice Lost in Wonderland or in Green Zone, and I really enjoy it, and I thought it'd be a good way for us to make a whole bunch of different alien heads and shapes, and then we can put all those into a list and roll for the ones that we like later on and be like, oh, hey, this week we're going to do this one that Uncle Lee did. Or I thought also if you guys wanted to make some and share it with the hashtag Roll for Hero, if you like some of the cool designs you make, we may add those to the list too. So it might be some of the ones that I made, some of the ones Uncle E made, some of the ones Ben made, and Jordan and Dragon Gaming. So, if you're interested, you can follow along with us and give it a shot yourself. And that way, that'll give us the materials we need to roll up cool aliens for the rest of the season. Because as we were talking out like how to roll up what the base alien would be, and we started throwing out ideas, we realized real quick, like, you don't want to get caught rolling up like an alien that's just a floating torso and then have to do 12 episodes of characters with no arms and legs. And, this season's all about sashes and belts and, things like that.
Yeah.
Or end up rolling somebody that has 8 arms, and then we have to try and draw a character with 8 arms every
Exactly.
single week. So this way, we can come up with whatever crazy thing hits our imaginations,
And
and
like
you guys
my
can
idea,
shout out ideas while we're at it. All
and not only
this.
that, but for me, my ideas for this season is like I wanted to kind of create like the baseline alien. Like personally, I wanted to see if we can create something like the Navi, and then we can kind of
Mhm.
expand upon that, and then like I said, create regional variants, like in Avatar 2. Essentially, the Way of Water, they ended up discovering the same kind of species, but they're more akin to living on more tropical, islands and water and oceanic essential vibes.
Mhm.
And not only that, they're able to swim. They're more accustomed and literally evolved to live within the ocean. And then you have the regular ones that are more like on land. So that was like the idea that I had for, like wanting to create like a baseline alien, and then we can come up with ones that are like probably more avian aesthetic, more that live underground or something like that. But then again, just like for today, we're gonna just get very experimental. So not much rolling done for this. And as what's it called, Dragon Gaming says, yes, it is essentially like a full-blown session zero for like a D&D campaign. And honestly, in a weird way, we're kind of like creating an entire D&D setting here. It's like a whole desert, the best way that I can put it is like John Carter of Mars. It's an alien world. It still has, the deserty biome type of area, but so we can explore with different technologies, magic and science and all that other kind of fun stuff. So I think today would be a very interesting. So we're just gonna go right in, and we're just gonna start doing some blobs, like random little shapes, little blobs, all that other kind of
Making
fun.
a note of Alien Gladiator, because that's a
Done.
good idea. That's something that we need to put on the list of characters to roll for. Because Gladiator is a great one to fit into that sandal punk world and
Oh
see what it
yeah.
would be like.
Where's the
So
book?
for mine, I am going to take my big rectangular marker brush that I like to do, and I'm just going to make a bunch of different squiggles on the page.
All right. So I'm also gonna write down the ideas. Gladiators. Love it. Alien Gladiator. That does make sense. What would be the code for me on that brush there? I guess for me that's like the syrup brush. It's very triangular in shape, but it's something. Okay.
See, I like the idea of there being a baseline alien, but then also, like as we were talking about it, we were talking about having a baseline alien, but then maybe some of them are more like feline, or some of them are more like ape-like, or turtle-like, or something, which would take them in a lot of different branches of you know evolutionary diversity, which kind of led me to also thinking, what if some of these aliens maybe came from the planets that these alien gods that were coming to this world and trying to take over came from as well? And so we could have some that are native to this world, and some that are, foreign
Mm,
visitors or slaves that have been brought over, or all kinds
or
of stuff.
or maybe like again like the ones where they're ape or cat, like they could just be other regional variants. Again, like they're part of
Hmm.
the same world, but they have that overall like they're native to the world, but they just happen to live in that section for so long that they have became accustomed to that area. So baseline alien, and take the baseline, give it a different regional genetic characteristics, so that idea y'all are to make groups with each other characters come from regions to show unity. Yes, Dragon Gaming got where my brain was wrinkling at.
Hmm.
It's more or less my thought process, but then again, we have to expand the thought processes in order for us to make better ideas. Our brains got a wrinkle, and therefore
And this
the
is
wrinkle.
this is the part of getting creative with it and seeing where we end up. And we might end up coming up with something that just screams out, this is what we need to do. But we could end up with a lot of cool variations of things, and we're going to end up with some stuff that's just silly, but That's okay.
But watch how the silly idea ends up becoming like the idea that we end up working with here.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of times things that I did just as a throwaway, you know, like I just wanted to draw a texture or something, end up becoming like a major character.
Okay. I'm kind of liking what you're doing there. So I'm totally copying you because I can. And I have the free will to do so.
And you don't have to stick 100% exactly to the outline of the squiggles. It's just there to inspire. Like I would always get lost seeing things when I would be looking in like carpet or something, and all the random matted texture of the carpeting. I would end up like seeing faces or shapes or superhero suits and stuff. And so, how many characters would be in this group right now? I'm open to as many as we come up with, and if we end up with, you know, 12 designs that we really like and want to put into a chart to roll for, we could do that. Or if we come up with 40 or 50, we could do that. That would have to be more of a like go to this post on Instagram or something and look at the chart to roll it up, because you wouldn't be able to see it on screen. But
Okay, I kind of got two that I already like here.
I love this guy. I don't. He may not be for this season, but I love this guy. I want to use him for something. I don't know what.
We'll figure out something. We'll figure it out. Hmm. Okay. Let me see here. I mean, I got some that I like, some that I'm digging. Gotta play with the silhouettes. Gotta break out of my mold. That is the hard part about this. So you gotta learn how to just really get out of what you're usually used to.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay, there we go. There we go. Trying to keep the video lively, at least with some form of functioning audio.
Yeah. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge indeed.
So how about that local sports team?
Right? As two comic artists talk about sports.
I was on a show. I was booked on a podcast while the campaign was live. And what was it that just came through? The Super Bowl? That was a Super Bowl came through recently, didn't it?
I know that there was an Olympic baseball team thing that happened, and I think it was Venezuela that ended up winning.
Anyway, I want to say it was the Super Bowl, but I could be wrong because I don't really pay attention to this stuff. But anyway, the podcast was booked for that night on a Sunday, and my wife was like, "You know, this is Super Bowl. Are you sure they know this?" I was like, "Babe, we're a bunch of comic book guys. Like, we don't care about this. Some people do, and the guys that do care are the guys that had already called out of the show and weren't going to be there. But the rest of us, we were good." We will.
Yeah, sports have never been my forte. And if there is any sport that I'm like super into, I am into basketball. I do like basketball. I was here when LeBron was actually part of the Miami Heat, and we actually had like that championship going for us. So, thank God.
I love sumo. I don't follow it like I wish I could because it's too hard to follow over here, especially like when I don't have cable. Um, it just seems to like come on at random times on random places that are going to carry it this time. But I love sumo, man. It is fascinating to watch, and not just because I'm fat. It is an awesome thing to watch these dudes that are like, 400, 500, 600 pounds, just one-handed hit a guy and just lift him off his feet and knock him out of the ring is just amazing to watch the power in these dudes. What's up, public domain world? You slipped in there with a quiet little hi, and we didn't catch it.
How you doing, bud?
For those that are just joining us, what if there's an alien villain that looks similar to a Roman emperor? Ooh, I like that idea. But for those that are just joining, we are doing a little scribble challenge today to come up with cool looking alien designs for season 3 to have cool ideas to pick from. And then hopefully we can roll on a chart after we pick which ones we want to use of the designs that we like. And so right now it's all just about being creative and coming up with something neat.
Dadpole, you didn't miss much. We're just currently in the process of doing some doodly doos, as Mr. Fish was explaining, as we're just trying to do a little line challenge. We're just basically creating little blobs. We're trying to create faces from said blobs, and we're just trying to go from there, seeing what happens. And then also, if we like the designs enough, we could probably implement it as like an alien characteristic that we can add onto this alien-like sandal punk world.
Mm-hmm. And it's just taking little blobs of color that we made with like a big, how about a disco alien? Disco fever, baby. We're just taking blobs of color just because it's an easy shape to work with there, and then making whatever we see out of that. And trust me, public domain world, we are not against a silly idea for a character, not at all.
I mean, trust me, the day that you roll up a cougar-themed supervillainous, that's the day you have to start questioning a lot of decisions in your life. I stopped asking a while ago, though, so I mean, I'm in no position to really say. Okay, I kind of like this little frog one. All right. Let's see what we can kind of get going on. Oh, okay. Now the cogs are turning in the brain space. What about this world, though? Well, I mean, we're going to be developing essentially an entire. I don't think that should this planet be like Tatooine, where it's like a supposed desert planet, or should there also be like smaller, thriving regions, where water is more prevalent?
I think it should be a diverse landscape. I mean, I don't remember any reason that it's supposed to be desert inherently. Though I didn't remember it was supposed to be alien originally either. I just immediately forgot that part that we rolled as soon as we rolled it.
Yeah, because when I was coming up with all the lists and everything, Fish was like, "Why are we so gung ho about the alien bit?" I'm like, "Because that's what we rolled up at the end of season 2."
Oh, brain damage is a gift that never ceases to give, man. It will always come back and be, no, your brain just didn't hit record right then. That's all right. You'll figure it out.
Okay, but I'm actually kind of like, I really like the fact that I did this very long shape, and now I'm doing like this little banana shaped dude over here. I really like the way this one came out. This was actually a lot of fun to draw.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him being like a derpy little like archer or like maybe one of those comedic side characters, but actually can pull his weight, narratively, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And I will.
Okay.
Mostly desert, but with regions having different environments, says Dragon Gaming. Dadpool says a species that was once aquatic evolving to their water planet drying up would be interesting to see. Oh, that's a neat idea. Like,
that
what would
is.
fishmen look like in a desert world? I guess the Thundercats reboot kind of did that, but that's a neat idea. I like that. I really like the fishmen that sailed the desert in their ship, hunting the beast under the sand. That was I really enjoyed that bit of story. Okay, so there is, let's see, 3 times 4. There's 12 designs right there, and
I'm still
now
trying
I'm
to
going
do
to
what you do.
make another set. And so I'll duplicate that. And just for the fun of it, I am going to rotate mine upside down and do another set now with the sketches going a different direction. Just to see what I come
Only
up
basically take the same shapes, but just go at it from a very different angle.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, sometimes I'll just keep going at it the same way again and see. It's fun to look at all the different variations that I come up with off of the same shape going the same way, but sometimes turning it another direction gives me a real different take on it. Like this one, from the other angle, all I was seeing was like jagged rocks, but once I changed it, I'm seeing this, regal bird dude. What if each different environment was ruled by a different god? See, that's what I'm thinking. Dragon Gaming smelling what I'm stepping in. I'm thinking like we roll up a different god each week is my thought right now. And then we take that dude's, what he was focused on, any iconography that's related to him, and kind of apply that to this sandal punk, ancient tech world with some random alien that we pick that lives in the environment that this guy is taking over on this alien world, or is somebody that he's brought with him from another alien world or something. Ooh, I love this shape so much. Sorry. And that's my thought, is that each one is like a different place, a different environment. And I love the idea of like some places being like semi-aquatic, like swamp marshland, like you were talking about with Avatar. I love that idea of some of the environments being very different, like lending themselves to more reptilian and amphibious type characters, and then other places being in the high tree forests and stuff, and lending more towards bird people, and some being in the mountains, lending more towards spider or goat people that can climb and handle those kind of terrains and stuff.
That is where actually I have my own superhero. Oh yeah, okay, that's pretty awesome, dude. Love the public domain representation there. I think I saw your comment on my most recent video, which finally posted a video after 3 months into this year. When I just redesigned. Kind of, yeah, because I did post a few beforehand, and then I just kind of stopped. But yeah, it was when I redesigned the Ghost. Didn't realize I was redesigning a swashbuckler there. All right, I can kind of see this right over here. Hello.
I just bleeped out. Can you hear me?
You're good. Everything's all okay on my end.
And I lost the comments.
No, well, I mean, they're still on my side. I'm all good over here.
Oh, really? You can see them?
I can, yes.
Okay. That's what my name is called like that. Public domain world says.
That. It's very awesome. I mean, hopefully you enjoyed a lot more of the other videos that I've done as well. I've done, not just public domain, I've tried branching out of that because, you don't want to keep yourself in a box, and at some point in time, I was almost close to now. We wanted to look at another guy in tights from the 40s again until I was like, let me just make knockoff characters. So then that way it's not like I'm always trying to use, characters from the golden age, but I could just make up a 100% knockoff. I'm doing the true Hispanic thing and just making a really bad, crappy knockoff of already a popular established character. Well, I made a puffy fish looking dude.
Puffy fish looking dude. I take offense to that remark. Why, I resemble that remark, sir.
We got bug-like, we got puffer fish, we got. There's actually like
this dude.
You see, that's what I really gotta.
That big horn on his head, man. That would be such a pain to have to draw from every angle in a comic. But I love that big, just big, useless, like, draw in the mates kind of, horn. I love it. And I love a floppy ear, man. Ever since we had a basset hound, I love a floppy ear. Have you guys ever done persona characters? Says Dad.
No. I have not. I don't know if I ever will. I know that I had a friend of mine who was super into Persona. It's a anime video game type thing.
So now that's like a character of you, just so I'm sure we're on the same page here.
No, I see where you come from with that. No, so Persona is a video game franchise, and that's the name of the franchise, called Persona. And in it they had these very. I personally know nothing of it as much. I only know that I have very few friends that really enjoy the game, and some that like made OCs for it, or they tried cosplaying some of those characters at some events. I know nothing of it, so I don't want to more or less speak on that because I don't want to accidentally say something, be like, that's a little bit weird, for me. And then all of a sudden I got canceled by the Persona community being like, this guy don't like Persona. How dare he? And I'm like, sorry, my guy. I mean, if you do Marvel characters and change something drastic, then will it be just ranting? But with OCs, you can do whatever you want. Kind of. I mean, if you saw one of my Ultra Value videos, I more or less just did my own rendition of Spider-Man that I called the Grub. It was actually one of the. It's such a very funny character to the point where I'm actually working on an issue 2 for that said character. I was right before the show. I was actually showing Mr. Fish some page progressions for that little book, and my goal is just to make it about like the size of a manga or something like that, and then just have easily printed out, and then that way I could just go to cons and just kind of be like, hey, here's like a $2 book. Have fun with it, But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun putting that whole thing together.
I never saw the point before I didn't see why people loved using public domain characters so much. I always just attributed it to, they just can't think up a new character of their own the way I can so easily. And some people can't. But I came to realize because the first books I started getting paid to work on were very heavy with public domain characters because it's pretty popular with folks. And I came to realize what it is people like about them, and how you can, even though you're using a character that you're hoping you're going to get a little bump of nostalgia, but honestly, there's only a few nerds like me that remember any of these characters, and that's usually just from them being on the list of public domain characters. Like, I wasn't reading Black Terror comics when I was a kid, or American Eagle books. I don't have his one appearance in my long box somewhere, but you get to kind of jump in automatically, and a lot of these characters fit a trope, you know, role in comics, like a Batman knockoff or a Superman knockoff or a Wonder Woman, pastiche. And because they already fit these roles, you can kind of real quickly jump in and, oh, okay, I know this guy's basically Batman, so we can just jump into the story. And that's really nice. Just being able to just jump in head first and being able to take what was there and then play with that and retool it and mush that Play-Doh around and make something new out of it is a lot of fun too. Um, my public domain superhero universe also has my own characters for me, but I'm currently working on a comic featuring public domain superheroes, says Public Domain World. He goes on to say, I use public domain superheroes because I have fun with them, and they are a lot of interesting characters that I think many with great potential. They've really inspired me to a lot of ideas there. Um, Especially when you think about, like, what would the legacy be of this character, like if the original character was in the 30s and 40s or whatever from the original book, and that was, say, grandpa. What would his grandson or great grandson be like living up to the name now? What would that character look like now if grandpa had continued on being a superhero? Or if that one adventure he got in that one issue was the only adventure he ever went on, like what kind of mark did that leave on the family? Uh, all kinds of things. Like, what really got me hooked on the idea was the Human Fly, not the one from Marvel that I do dearly love, and I collect all of the books I can find anywhere. That is what I look for when I'm at cons, is the Human Fly. But there was an old villain, like a one-shot villain from one of the long gone companies, and his whole shtick, he was only in this one appearance, but he had this giant fly costume that looked like a giant house fly on his back, and he'd get on the side of a building like human flies used to do and climb up the side of the building. And the shtick was, the big fly on the outside was a mechanical device that once he got on the side of the building, it just crawled up the building, and he went in one of the windows and then went to like rob people or kill somebody or something, and then climbed out another higher window and got back in the device and got to the top. Ta-da! You saw me the whole time. And because that outer shell was climbing the wall, everybody thought he was there instead in the building committing crimes. And I thought that was such a clever thing and kind of stupid gag device. And then it left me wondering, okay, so if that's what grandpa did, and and he got busted for that and spent his life in prison, what did his son do as a villain, and then his grandson, and then the idea of having to try and constantly reclaim the family name of the Human Fly as a villain and try and make it somebody to be feared when everybody did stupid stuff before you and got busted in goofy concepts and stupid looking gear trying to make this fly outfit look cool. What would that end up evolving into? And I ended up with like this, like, Marvel's Beetle kind of character in this crazy tech armor, with a huge chip on his shoulder, trying to make everybody take him seriously. And I kind of like that idea. I think that's neat. I'm gonna go ahead and rasterize this later so I can do this. Let's see. What if you guys made up your own unique gods, and gods from Egyptian and Hinduism were my universe is basically, what if the heroes from an analog time live in the modern days? Okay, maybe unrelated question, but I don't want to only talk about my hero universe. Did you guys see the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer? No, I haven't seen it yet. Is it out? It wasn't out yet.
I have,
Last time I
and
looked.
very intrigued. I think for me right now, I am kind of like, obviously a lot of people say it's like, it's not superhero fatigue, it's not this fatigue. Personally, I am feeling a bit fatigued from the big two. But I mean, Spider-Man is Spider-Man. We're gonna watch it regardless. It's gonna make its money, whether it's good or not. I saw it. I personally like the trailer. Can't wait to see what they do with it, and hopefully we can start expanding more on it. And I really don't know what's gonna happen because Tom Holland, the actor himself, he's really kind of like not put himself in a situation. He's nothing wrong with the actor. He's a fine actor, great portrayal of Peter Parker in my humble opinions. I will say, like I don't know how much longer he has as Spider-Man because knowing Disney, they're gonna milk the daylights out of Tom Holland until he ever retires the freaking mask. But I personally feel like if they're gonna take this direction and continue on his legacy, I hope personally, this is just me, that they actually continue the Spider-Man legacy with like Miles Morales or someone else. But I don't think the world is ready for that yet. Just because, it's people on the internet and they're just gonna be like, oh, I don't know. We finally get like an accurate Peter Parker, and now he's like this. I don't know. Like, no one's gonna be happy about it regardless. But I like it. I like where they're going with it. I hope that the idea, or whatever that they have going on for Tom Holland's rendition of this character goes through. And I hope that they're able to tell a completed story out of this, because right now most of the MCU films are a bit so, and it's like, you can't really go wrong with Spider-Man. And even if you do, you're going to have so many defenders of that film because, number one, the suit looks perfect. Borderline, it looks like it came straight out of the comic books.
He's the perfect Spider-Man. I mean, as much as I've liked all of the Spider-Men for different reasons, he's the perfect Spider-Man. I mean, he's got the look, he's got the youthful exuberance, he's got the actual acrobatics to be able to do all this stuff.
That's true.
He's perfect. I got to give it to him. Never thought I would see the day, but he is perfect as Spider-Man.
And I do agree with that sentiment. I do.
I'm going to miss it when he's gone. But also, like you said, Disney is going to milk him dry. So I definitely
will
understand when he quits.
I saw a poster somewhere like that. So whether or not this is true, I don't know. But Tom Holland states that the day that he becomes a father is the day that he's going to like retire acting, just so he can focus on family, which fan-freaking-tastic. But when you have the legacy of one of the greatest superheroes on planet Earth, that's a hard thing to kind of get away from. And good luck trying to find another Peter Parker kind of like, look-alike, because I don't know how you're going to find that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my batch that I kind of got on the go.
What's up, Rob Shepard? Like the trailer,
Hello,
although
Rob.
I'm
Sorry
skeptical about how many characters are in the film. See, I haven't seen it yet, but that's the problem that always ends up happening. They always think they have to outdo the last one because people won't come back if it's not bigger than the first one. It doesn't have to be bigger. It just needs to be good.
This is true. Anyways, I got my batch, but I know you said you were going for more of those. Like you're trying to design
I want to do as many as I can in the time that we have.
This is true.
Because, I mean, they're not all gold. So.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do what you just did, and I'm going to flip it around, see if I can find other shapes. Because I like the batch that I got. Some are good, some are iffy, and I'm like, okay. Okay, now I'm going to get a lot more bird ones here. Now that I see some of the ones that are more triangular, I can see.
It's street level now. Street level Spider-Man now. Okay, cool. I can dig that. I love me a street level Spider-Man.
Who doesn't?
That's the thing that I've always liked about Spider-Man, though, is that like he can be street level, and he can be like absolutely unique issues that only really would happen to him. Like he has a lot of like science-based issues that really only end up happening to him because he's a scientist in college. Like, he wouldn't even know most of these people if it wasn't for that and be getting caught up in their nonsense. But I love that he can be a street level hero, but also can go up real quickly and easily into the big leagues and, be fighting against people like Dr. Doom and handle his own and and it's cool and it makes sense. Where other characters can't necessarily go back and forth as easily. Like like I love the Black Panther, but seeing him taking on street level thugs when he's a king and has much bigger issues at stake seems kind of silly to me, and seems like really you're wasting your time as a king. You could be doing much more productive things for your people than this right now. Sitting in this alley, beating up a drug dealer doesn't help the people of Wakanda. You could be in a diplomatic meeting or something. But taking on a world leader like Doom, who's trying to overthrow your country for the vibranium, absolutely makes sense. And I don't know, used to, I think they had a hard time kind of writing Luke Cage to go from street level to the big threats because he always just kind of felt out of place there. But also, he was being written by old white guys in the beginning. So they probably couldn't think of interesting ways to. Now that he's being written by more diverse cast of writers, he can go back and forth more easily. But he was one I used to always think of when I thought of people that had a hard time going back and forth, where it seems so easy for Spider-Man. But
Yeah, and I think it's also because of the fact that Spider-Man is also like the character that meets other characters. Like in his first official solo book, yes, he had Amazing Fantasy 15, but that was an anthology book. That was a book that had other stories that just happened to have Spider-Man because, again, it was a failing book. It ended up saving the whole company, but still. In Spider-Man's first official book, like what others would consider his issue 2, he ended up meeting the Fantastic Four off rip, So, like, in his own first book, he had to meet the Fantastic Four. And then from there, he would meet other characters, which, I guess you can use the spider joke here, where it's like he is literally the web that is connecting the entirety of the Marvel Universe. And Spider-Man, let's be honest, is at the core of it all.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm never against the idea of, like, Spider-Man being, like, honestly, like, if there had to be a main character of the Marvel Universe, it would be Spider-Man. I'm not going to lie. It would be. Number one, is because he is very popular. Number two, it's also like, number one, he's a very popular character. Number two, it's the fact that he also meets every other character. And number three, he's the only singular character in the entirety of the Marvel Universe that has a series of side characters that aren't just superheroes. It's his boss from work. It's his aunt. It's his, call it 300 plus girlfriends at this point, because I have no idea how many, chicks this guy gets with. But it's like, he is a more thriving and livable character. It's not to say that other characters have, similar qualities, but let's be honest, out of everyone who's been very much developed.
Oh,
I blipped.
you back now?
Yep.
There you are. Yeah.
There we go. Sorry about that. Where did I stop at?
Yeah, he's got history with the X-Men as well, says Rob Shepard.
Exactly. And again, Spider-Man is literally connected to almost every other character, hence why he has that, like, what I would call the main character feel. Like, when was the last time we ever saw Venom and Wolverine in the same comic book? Not really common. Same thing with Carnage. Or, any other Spider-Man adjacent cast. Like, Mary Jane still tries going around. They couldn't give her a whole thing. But, like, all to say, though, it's like, it's not really easy to... For some characters, not as easy. Like, with Luke Cage, I can only see him being a street-level character. At best, a global Avengers type of character.
Like, as part of a bigger group, to be the muscle in a bigger group is an easy fit for him, but I think some writers have done a better job with it than others. Mr. Fish, I'm really loving your drawing. Same as you, Esteban. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
And like we said earlier, if you missed it, if you guys want to make any scribble drawings and come up with some alien designs yourself and tag them #RollForHero and tag us in the images when you share them, we'll look through those too. And if we see some cool designs, we'll throw them in the list too.
Post them in our communities, tag us via through our socials, please do. So then that way we'll have the optimal method of finding them and trying to draw them out as best we can. Okay, now I'm actually kind of liking a few of these other designs now that I'm actually doing it the different direction.
All right, let's Now, I'm going to. Hmm. Let's see what this does. Flip it over again. So now it's upside down, but flipped over. Save. Don't forget Deadpool. He's Marvel's Jesus, says Deadpool. Character's looking good now. Mary Jane is Venom now, says Rob. And Batman and Spider-Man have the two best rogue galleries in comics, and you're probably right. I mean, Flash has some. Yeah, Flash has some good ones, but they don't beat. They
Yeah,
don't
but
beat
if you
like
had
the
to go
Sinister
like
Six.
if you had to go like band for band, like who has the best like rogues gallery? It's Batman. He has the most easily recognizable, rogues gallery. And honestly, I personally will say the movies and the cartoon are definitely the reasons why people know more about Batman than they do about any other DC character. Sure, people can know about the Flash, but also the Flash CW show does do a lot of like crossovers with other kind of characters, which then leads to the debate: is the Flash essentially like the Spider-Man adjacent character that brings everyone together through the Speed Force? Who knows?
Oh, I'm loving this character design. Oh, I love that one. I'm using that for something. It may not be this season, but that is that is a great looking design. And that's the third time I've scribbled on this shape.
Okay, I kind of like this one over here as well. Just doing a more side profile, but I feel like I can work off of
Oh
this.
yeah.
And then just, I really gotta start doing that. This one's actually my funnier one over here. This little guy right there.
Oh, he's cute.
Oh yes, hello. I can't hear him sounding like this. Welcome to the Bug Boy here. Call me Bogey. Kind of like to know how Ultra Value version of Deadpool would look like. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I had to again the one thing I love about the Ultra Value series, and for those that do or don't know, the Ultra Value series is a play on like Great Value, like Walmart's brand of products. So for me, it's Ultra Value because Ultra Comics. So for me, like I get to just make up 100% knockoff renditions of some titular characters. Like actually, my next video is going to be whenever I get to it, but my next video is going to be a knockoff of Mecha Man from the Dispatch game. I wanted to do Iron Man, but I ended up when going for the design, I'm like, this is more Mecha Man, so I'm gonna just go for that one. So I'm gonna do a whole Ultra Value Mecha Man. I have other characters in the works, like yes, more of the Marvel characters, some DC characters, and yeah, that's some of my intended goals here. Okay. Dang it! Why is it that some of these scribbles end up becoming like better character designs than I ever have the intention of actually designing?
I'm saying, man, this works out so well for me. I really should be doing more of these. I've been so busy lately. If things work out the way they look like they might, though, I may end up with some more free time on my hands and not have to be busting my butt quite so hard. Can't go into too much detail, but I have had some people show some interest in publishing Green Zone. And if that works out, that might just bring me in a little more extra money right now and help me not have to be rushing so hard to make the ends meet for the next couple of months, which would be nice.
That would definitely be nice indeed.
You should look up old comic book Prime from the Ultraverse. Oh, I love Prime. That's what I've run. Rob probably doesn't know this. I've run a superhero RPG. You may know it for like 30 years now. Started in high school and just kept running it. My kids grew up playing it, all that stuff, and they grew up like learning to read and write on their sheets and learning to do math on, dice. And in the game, I never could throw in like, yeah, this little short hairy guy named Logan is sitting at the end of the bar. They're gonna be like, oh, it's Wolverine, because I can't throw in a Marvel or DC character that my kids didn't already know. But I Prime is one character that I got to put in the book, and they were completely flabbergasted when they finally like busted through and he just turns into goo, and then there's like a 10-year-old kid sitting there. They were absolutely shocked with that reveal, which is something that I just couldn't do with bigger characters that they know. But Prime was one that I love dearly just because I got to use him like that. And I had to make up every character from scratch except for Prime. And I stuck Armor in there from Continuity Comics because he's one of my favorites too.
Okay. Also, maybe should start learning how to like try to create some of these characters for more of the sandy. Well, not sandy. Not every single thing has to be like a desert region. I don't know why I'm always thinking desert regions. Not everything's in the
Too
desert.
much Star Wars. It got too much Tatooine on the brain, they say. Ain't right, they say. I did make a team similar to the team from Deadpool and Wolverine with public domain and open source heroes. Cool.
Well, I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but it's something. Ooh. Yeah, I really got to start doing these exercises more often.
I'm telling you, man, I really like them. I was doing them for a while there every day, and it was very fruitful. The problem is that I come up with all these ideas and I want to stick them in stuff. Now that I'm doing like Alice Lost in Wonderland, it's a lot easier to stick in random aliens and stuff than it is when I was doing like, the Sentinels all the time.
Okay. Problem with the Ultraverse characters is Marvel owns it. It's like AK Disney, but there's right issues because there's like splits with rights, and if they publish them, they owe people money. That's why they don't put them out. Oh.
Yeah, it's amazing how much those places will just like sit on stuff and not make money with it to not have to share sometimes. I mean, like Ultraverse isn't going to be the most profitable line in the world. Like it's only really going to have nostalgia for certain old dudes like us. But
So
it
it's a big
doesn't
but.
mean that they couldn't make money off of it and or do something cool and new with it.
But somebody has to have the opportunity for that to happen. And has it happened yet? No, because nobody wants to share. Agreed. is definitely a topic for sure. Oh, ooh, I like this one. Now, should this world be like technologically developed, or do we want to go with the vibe of like, should this world have that mix of science and magic, or should it make the magic look like science or something like that?
I think it could be a mix of both. You know, like you were saying, John Carter or Mars. Like I think it could easily be a mix of, you know, a little bit of science and magic, or science that they lost the science to, but they still know how to do it and think of it as magic. You know, like, you know, you have to be sure to fill the vessel with the distillates of the petroleum oils to, you know, to spawn the fire from within to get, you know, the horseless carriage to, you know, magic to work correctly, and, you know, stuff like that. Prime has the most potential, says Rob Shepard. I like Prime, but then I always like a kid getting to turn into an adult superhero. I think that's a really fun entry point for a character. I think that has so much potential to bring in new young readers and stuff when, you know, the hero is a kid like them getting to live out the adventures, rather than someday when I grow up I could be, you know, Superman. Oh no, I just got to learn the magic word. You know, maybe if I say it really hard, it'll work for me this time.
That's probably the reason why my dad was such a big Shazam kid, because I know that they had the live action show back then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I liked about Shazam. Is just the hopefulness of it, you know.
I don't know what this one's all about, but I really like this one.
Oh, that's cool. That looks like a
I'm gonna,
Cybertronian goat, man. And I freaking love that. You
I
got a lot
wasn't
of
even.
cool robot type shapes, man.
I know.
Oh,
I really.
dude. I didn't even think about the fact that the aliens didn't have to necessarily be organic. Oh man, now you've spawned all kinds of ideas in me.
No,
What if
see.
they're freaking living rocks that are chiseled into these shapes?
Oh
Or
no, that's even worse.
like
No, because
freaking stone Autobots. Oh my god! And then you could
are we
like
about to create?
chisel
Because
magical
this
ropes into
one
yourself.
is one of my favorite designs by far. I just look because this one has main character, literal main
Oh
character,
yeah.
and very sleek, very like the handsome hero, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Shazam, aka Captain Marvel. Hopefully, somebody. Yes, we understand what you're talking about. Trust me. When going into public domain circles or like learning about characters from the public domain, a lot of Charlton characters and even some characters from DC are still in that weird, like that really, really weird, like gray area of being public domain. So yes, we know that Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, is one and the same, but that's also depending on who you're talking to and whether they would consider
Yeah, I
Captain Marvel.
mean, like his name was never Shazam before, but eventually, after kids have been calling him that for so long, it's just easier to just be like, yeah, it's Shazam. Okay.
And then also, I mean, DC tried suing the company that made Captain Marvel because of how much he looks like Superman.
And they would never be able to get away with that now, like that same argument now. Like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
well, he has dark hair and he has a cape. And, you know, that's way too vague for superheroes. But back then, and well, what really pissed him off was Captain Marvel was selling way better than Superman for a while there. I mean, he took over. But, you know.
There's this one
Where
little
there's the ability to sue, there's a way.
Oh yeah. There's actually like this little funny theme of characters that I started to develop for this. And it's like they all wear like these weird shaped like hats, and then there's like a little part where it's like exposed behind it. And then like this little guy's the one that I'm in the process of drawing. Very like squished out. Very robot looking, but it could easily be just like a little alien dude right over here.
Oh, I
Right.
like it.
Right? It was kind of that's actually pretty cool. But then also it's a funny little hat design.
Okay, see, now I want to draw these guys as robots or
Like ancient golem.
stone golems or something.
I was gonna say, so here's like some of the designs that I did come up with that did have that like quote unquote like robot kind of vibe, or like for instance,
Okay, hold on a
this was
second.
like
We need to main character energy this here so we can see it.
all right. So I like this one. So this is where this wasn't where I started. It started with this one right over here. So I kind of like the way that this one ended up looking. So it has like this weird front half of a hat. Like it has the back exposed. I don't know why I would have that, but I think that's very interesting. And then I took that exact kind of concept and then brought it to this one over here. So this one still has like that, robot feel, but this could easily be like another one that would be friends with the other ones that I just showed you. And yeah, so there was that. And then of course I have this robot over here. This is just like, honestly, what was it? Like Transformers Prime. Like I love this design so much. And I don't know what to do with it just yet, but I really like this. It's very animated.
I really like that one.
And then this one over here is like a Cobra goat robot. I was trying to go for a Darth Vader vibe, but then I'm like, yeah, probably not. But I still like the way this one came out.
See, that goes into my idea for my alien gods that I used in my game and in one of the books I'm working on, where they're all these weird aliens that came down and we thought, and we mistook them as gods and they were aliens trying to take over our planet. And part of the reasons that the pharaohs wore the headdresses that they wore was because these guys had these big like fan gill things coming down their sides of their head with all these slits in it that they could breathe through. And so they copied that pattern and that look in their headdress and stuff for the pharaohs. And that reminds me of it. That cobra with the lines across it reminds me very much of that. I've put a little bit of that into some of these designs too. Oh, I'm liking that one too. All right. While we're showing them off, I'll show off a few of the ones I did here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Switch that
I guess
out
I'm just
with-
now developing the people. Like, I guess I'm developing the alien, like my course of aliens here, which honestly, I really like the little weird head shapes that they have. And I love that they have like a little front visor guard hat thing.
Yeah, I really like this design that I came up with. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but I really like the idea of that like hard shell around the jaw and the head and like a soft under throat kind of thing. This really reminds me of like Evil Sid from freaking Ice Age. And this guy is just barely sticking out of his collar. I just think is funny. It doesn't give us a lot to go on for an alien species, but I love a big ear. Ever since my Basset Hound, I've loved a big ear on an alien. I like weird head shapes too. I think those guys are cool. I've had a lot of fun with this blob. It's come up with some really cool shapes with horns and stuff. Let's see. A little bit of whale designs in there. This one kind of, I'm thinking Cybertronian geisha girl.
Oh, okay. Actually, I think it would be interesting if we played with those like headdresses or like if we went with that robot design, but in reality, those are actually more like stony or rock-like, apparel or something like that. Again, kind of like what I'm doing with the weird, little alien designs here. Because now that I kind of have this vibe, I got this very unique little vibe from it where they all have.
I really like the way this guy came out too. I think there's something about his design that I really like. He's probably going to end up in Alice. I have a feeling.
I got this
And
guy right here too.
and then this one with the gaps and the tubing and stuff, and like this big head and this face, and then just kind of openness in there. I like the unicorn rabbit. I'm not crazy about. This guy I like too. It's almost like a cross between a baboon and a rabbit. I can't tell, but I love his expression. But he seems more like a main villain or intermediate villain that you would have to deal with along the way to get to the information that you want. This frog dude is cool looking, but he essentially just looks like a frog. I was trying to throw in a little more snake, but he ended up very frog. I really like this guy. I don't think he's probably right for this
Setting.
mission necessarily for this season, but I really like him. And this guy, I really like. This guy's he's gonna end up somewhere for sure. And then let's see my third sheet with my first designs on it. I like this sharkish guy. He's pretty cool. And this dude in the middle is neat looking too. I love this guy on the second row with the big wide head. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but I'm definitely going to do something with him. Let's see. I guess I do.
All right, Rob over here put some pretty cool titles here. Ancient astronauts, agronauts. That's a pretty cool one. We are the agronauts. Like that's
for the stone aliens. What if they have the crystal core that acts like both heart and soul for them? And for the dark twist, the gods are harvesting those crystals in the stone people. Oh, see, Dragon Gaming got to take it dark. I'm not against it though, or like it seems like they're just trying to harvest the energy from them and get them all to worship you and focus all that energy towards you in one go. But ultimately, like if you don't get it one way, you could just grind them down and take the crystals. That's dark, dude, and I like it. I'm here for it. I really like this guy. This guy needs to be in a book somewhere. This dude looks like he came right out of last season, fighting alongside the Reindeer Game Squad. Like I don't know what he is, but he
would be like you know what? He would be he would be Rudolph's father if that was the case. Like that would be like the alien. Oh, that's really cool. I'm watching the last stream and drawing in on the comic. Ooh. Love it, public domain. Love it.
All right. Turn those off. I'm going to go back to my first sheet just for the heck of it. And I'm going to make a new layer and drop some all new characters.
Okay. Now I kind of got a more of a draconic dude over here. Basically drew a dinosaur. Yeah, dinosaur. We like dinosaurs. Okay, this one I can see being like a. Oh yeah, there we go. Very high noble alien. Yes. I say. Big head, little ears. With big head, little ears. There we go.
He's a jackalope, says Rob Shepard. Oh, wait a minute. I don't need to have this guy full screen anymore. I'm not showing it off like that. There we go. Back over here. There we go.
Yeah, I'm really liking these little guys right over here. Like those little like shell heads almost. I don't know what to properly call them. I feel they could be like you know what these could be like? They would be like the tradesmen. Like they would basically own like a junk cart or something like that, or they would own like a junk shop and they'll try to sell something to you.
My cabbages. I know the type of character. Yes, I'm familiar.
And we got this right over here. This very big-headed alien. Just look at that. Got wisdom up in there,
Yeah, he does.
bursting
Thinking
from the
them
sea,
big thoughts.
thinking them big thoughts.
Got that high dollar brain, said the lady that I went on a cruise with. Oh man, when this lady saw the size of the cruise ship that we were going to be on, she lost her mind at the thought of like how somebody thought of that and how did somebody, do all the math to figure that out. And I guess I just don't really think about things that deep because I mean, you just do it. But man, she lost her mind. It was kind of funny to see how much she tripped out over it.
Hmm. There we go. It's like a weird, buggy, alien-looking elephant thingy. Okay, we're getting somewhere here. Probably not where we need to be, but somewhere nonetheless. Very high society, yes. Kind of like how I'm drawing this dude. Very, very pompous. Not gonna lie, this is a really interesting world that we're doing here. I have no idea what we're gonna be rolling up next. Ooh, you know what I think is another one? Like another, I guess, like type of occupation slash character, scavenger.
Mm-hmm. Dragon Gaming says, "What if you guys made up your own gods from other gods, from Egyptian and Hinduism, or sub gods, and an unknown god helps the heroes against these gods, but he's the true villain, becoming the new sun god Ra." It could be interesting to take like two different deities and mix them together and mix aspects of both of them to come up with a new idea for what it's going to be. That might be a little less insulting to certain people, which is my only concern. I don't want to. I mean, when you're talking ancient Egyptian gods, I could be wrong. I don't think there's a whole lot of people that are still genuinely worshiping them. I could be wrong. Like, I wouldn't want to do it with.
Malintent.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hurt anybody's feelings or make them feel like we were making fun of them or anything. But it
Okay.
always feels easier, I guess, when the society is essentially gone now. I mean, not that there aren't still descendants of like the Aztec people and whatnot around, but it's definitely not the same as it was, and generations of trying to squash their culture out made it difficult.
Okay, now I'm going final direction. See where we go from here.
Crown Obsidian says, but once Kratos starts slaying them, it's okay. That's understandable, said Mr. Gish.
How you doing there? How you doing there?
It's closer than Moose.
Now I'm just drawing a gorilla man or a little gorilla guy over here. right. So at least we got something going on here. It's gonna be a lot. So then would we be rolling just for, I guess, like consistency or something like that? Or after drawing all these little doodles and such, what would then happen after? What's the then intended goal here?
I think we take the ones that we like best, and at the end of it all, and see whatever anybody else comes up with. Like Crown Obsidian might come up with some really cool ideas and chunk them out there on the interwebs and tag it #roll for hero so that we could see it, and might want to throw some of them into the mix. And then pick the ones we like and want to use and put them in the list to roll up. Is my thought right now. Standing where I stand, which is sitting in a chair, in this moment, which is now.
Like gasp. We been gasping.
I'm starting to smell tacos.
What I would do for some fajitas right now. What a man would do for some fajitas out here.
Oh, and these are the barria tacos too. These are the good ones. These are the ones I've been trying to find in town for a long time now, and I cannot find anywhere. Well, I found them one place, and they were a disappointment.
Not a disappointment.
Yes, I was very sad indeed. Okay, essentially, I just drew the dude from Star Wars.
Which one?
It's the guy with the 4 eyes. They're in weird places, and they're shaped a little wonky, but I just essentially drew him. I didn't realize that was where I was going to end up when I started that sketch. But they can't all be wieners. That's what Crown Obsidian said, and that's why he cries at night.
No, not Crown Obsidian, Crown at night. Over wieners.
If only they could all be wieners, he said.
You got to be putting words in people's mouth. Mouth is. Yep, I'm reaching a little bit tired. Because I can English. Gotta love that.
Gonna cook up some burgers, says Dragon Gaming. Then I'm gonna drive over to Fish's house and take him some burgers. That's mighty nice of you, said Mr. Gish.
Yeah.
You good, bro?
Maybe. I'll get back to you in 3 to 5 business days.
I'll take that. Lower that.
Okay. Oh, what can I come up with here? So why is it called episode 0? So for today's episode, we're not really rolling for anything. We're just doing a lot of doodling for Benjamin, who just asked this question. We're basically doing a lot of doodles. We're not really rolling for anything. And this is more like us coming up with some ideas for what we're going to do for the setting. Again, every season is going to be very different depending on which setting we're going to be rolling up. So for last season, on our last episode, we rolled up a Sandal Punk alien world. So right now we're just trying to develop as many funny looking alien people as we possibly can and trying to see which ones we really like from it. So right now Fish is coming up with with a vast array of really cool designs here. I'm coming up with as many designs as I possibly can. But at this case, at the moment, I drew a crocodile, a gorilla, and a bird. So I don't know where my mind's at the moment. But yeah, so the goal for us is to essentially create as many designs as we can that could fit in this world and then seeing where we go from there. You know what I mean? and then whichever ones we like best, we're going to try to keep them as like the baseline or as some of the baseline aliens that could live in this world, and then seeing where we go from that. Like right now we got some ideas to have gladiators. I came up with scavengers. We could also probably come up with transportation. Like people that would actually develop transportation traveling from one part to the next. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Lantern show, which is about Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, which is a set in the DCU? Honestly, I really don't know. Personally, I heard many.
Somebody didn't watch the 5-star feed, because you would have heard me rant until my face was bright red about said show. I am unhappy with what they're doing. And I truly believe they are just they're trying to save money everywhere they can, and they're gonna ruin the show from the looks of things right now. Ryan loved it, thinks it's amazing, and I could not hold my tongue, because everything he was saying is exactly what takes it away from being Green Lantern. He's like, I don't need to see outer space squirrels. I don't need to see Kilowog. I don't need to see green suits coming out of the ring and people flying around in outer space in green light. I don't need to see Star Wars. I was like, that's what Green Lantern is. All we're seeing in this freaking trailer is like Friday Night Lights, Breaking Bad. I don't care about that. Both those shows already exist. You can go back and watch them. You're not going to outdo those two. So just go watch those instead. You don't need to make it again. If you want to make a Green Lantern show, I personally would think it needs to be about some Green Lanterns. And they need to do some Green Lantern type stuff.
Like
That's
being
me.
in
I'm
space.
crazy old man. I'm out there talking off my meds and whatnot. I don't know nothing.
Cute old man yelling at the sky and clouds. But no, I mean, if that is the case, then yeah, I get it too. I mean, look, if they were able to create a show about the Flash and him going on all his adventures, teaming up with as many heroes in the Flash's overall universe as much as they can, then there is no excuses to having a really good show about Green Lanterns in space. I think it's very feasible. It's just the fact that here's you know what, I'm gonna state this. Super Sentai and a lot of Power Rangers stuff. I've been getting into that a lot recently for obvious reasons. I've been hitting a nostalgic point with them. But the fact that Super Sentai and Power Rangers can actually tap into being into like different worlds on a very cheap budget. Again, Tokusatsu is a very, very, simplistic show. Legendary Simpsons Bowl.
Yeah, old man yells at cloud.
Yeah, there we go. Because that's exactly the meme that was going to my head. Anyways, back to my topic here. The fact that Super Sentai, like one of their later series, that they did like an entire like space opera. They had different aliens and different beings from throughout the universe fighting in an evil thing. But again, yes, it was cheap. Yes, it is a definite kid audience show. But it had so much action, adventure, and everything else in between. Personally, I haven't seen the show, but I have seen many reviews for it. I've seen so many images of it. And it's like, if America can set its standards down just a little bit, look, it's DC. They have the money. They can blow it up and make an entire awesome action-packed show. But if you pull back the budget, and if you really just allow yourself to have fun with the project, then maybe we can actually enjoy, ideas like Green Lanterns being in space. Yes, is it going to look cheap? Is it going to look cheap? Yes, obviously, of course. I would rather have a cheap, fun show than an expensive, grounded, gritty one where you're removing 90% of what makes the character fun and enjoyable to begin with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I added clerics to the list, Dragon Gaming, and that's a good pull. I was thinking like priests or something along that line.
Well, a general term could be acolytes.
Yeah.
But I would say priests would be more general.
But yeah, I like that idea for a role of person, whatever. Soldier should definitely be on there. What are your thoughts on K-pop Demon Hunters and One Battle After Another won the Oscar for Best Picture? Uh,
K-pop
I
deserved
love
it.
K-pop Demon Hunter. I haven't seen One Battle After Another, so
Same here.
I can't really speak on it. Did they end up winning it together? I didn't watch the Oscars, obviously. I think you can tell.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of like we're not the best when it comes to sports or any other variation of pop culture. We know what we like, but we don't probably
I
know a lot
mean,
about
like I watch movies and TV shows, and like to keep up with what's going on. But also, like, I'm not the guy that's going to see the trailer first thing in the morning when it comes out because I'm working all day, every day. Like my son got up extra early today so that he could watch Invincible this morning before he had to go to work, and I have not seen the new episodes because I was busy all day working on something else. I'm going to put this large for a second. This is move, go there. There we go. This is the a big double page spread that I did at the beginning of the Green Zone trade as some of the pages that I'm adding on because I really wanted to get a good look at the Green Zone because we only get a couple of glimpses at it really in very many spots. Most of the time we're inside a police car or we're inside the police station or a hospital or something. You don't get to see much of the outside. So I wanted to give a little bit more feel for what the world's like. And as I was working on it and I was wrapping up the colors, I was like, well, this bridge and stuff is far too plain. So I need to put some graffiti on it. And I started and I just put my wife's name, Colby, on there. And then it hit me. This would be an interesting way I've never done before of doing my thank you page. So everybody that backed the campaign is in here. Uh, they started out in order, and then I ended up going back and forth all over the page. But Colby, J Man, Lori C, Michael Wapo, John Pasquini, Florio, David Ketcherside, Weiland, Chris, Doolin, all these different names on here. 1282 is one of the backers' names. So, like, all of these names graffitied all over the background are all the backers from the Kickstarter, and they are my Patreon backers that back every month and get, all the books that I put out shipped to them when they come out, or copies of the digital comics, or whatever. So those guys are all in here. And then some of the guys that, like, back at the big tiers on my Patreon, they got like whole signs to themselves, or like the guy that backs every campaign I do at the highest tier and has me ship it all to Singapore. He gets his name on the side of a building, and a lot of my Patreon backers end up with their names on the billboard up here and stuff. But I thought that was a really fun way to do the thank you notes, and everybody gets to spend their time trying to find their name in there, and I thought that would be fun. Yeah, and it doesn't impact the story or anything, and still including them. I'm actually thinking now, next time I do a Green Zone story anyway, I may add a graffiti tier, and for like an extra $20 add on or whatever, you can get your name in the book somewhere in the background in graffiti. And that would be pretty fun, I think, and wouldn't be a giant buy-in. That could be a fun little, like, hey, look, that's my name right there. And who knows? It might make me an extra $400 on the campaign or something. But and I liked having a big introductory page with like the title of the book and the credits on the side of the building there and everything. I thought was fun. And story wise, I needed to show off this billboard more because it's important to the story. What's your thoughts on War of the World, that awful 2025 movie starring Ice Cube, won the Razzie Awards? Never saw it. Never even heard of it.
Same here.
Didn't know it happened. Well, it's 4 o'clock. We're going to need to get going
Yeah,
because
we came
I
up with
got
a lot
another
of
show to do.
designs. I really have no idea what I'm planning on doing with some of these designs. I have a favorite series of designs here, which is definitely these like little, cone head or shell head looking guys over here. I feel like these would be fun little like smaller characters that would exist in this universe. I would definitely see myself drawing more of these guys as like some of the denizens or whatever. Definitely loved the robot aspect of it when it came down to designing this guy over here. I could definitely see this world having like, okay, we'll probably have to do it, but the way that I'm thinking about it, we should probably do like what, like ancient robots.
Somebody made a good suggestion. Somebody had a big suggestion. What if the clerics acolytes are believers of old gods and the new gods are trying to race, and these clerics are the last believers who are trying to keep the old gods remembered? Okay, that's a cool idea. I thought it was a list of ideas, but that's a good idea. Are you going to poll for your baseline and unique aliens? I was just going to suggest that. So get out of my brain, Dragon Gaming. It's not cool, bro. You don't use your powers against your own kind, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But personally, I feel like there should be, we should definitely have like a set list of, now that we kind of have drawn and like created a few different aliens, and for me, some robot designs, honestly, I feel like we kind of take some of these designs and then we can go and basically make, what's it called? Like more of these kind of characters. Like for me, I love the little shell heads is what I'm going to call them for now. I love these shell head designs, and I feel like I can make more of these, and maybe we can create like a different kind of shell head, like a warrior one, a gladiator one, a tradesman, or a rider, a pilot. We can kind of go from there.
Like Dragon Gaming was saying, I think we should take these images that we've done and like letter or number all the different little characters and make it a post on social media and see what kind of engagement we get and which ones people like. So like people can vote on, I like A, C, and G or whatever. And whichever ones get the most votes, then maybe that helps us pick which ones go into the rotation for next time. Anyway, It's just a thought, but it would be a good way to get
because you got another podcast to partake in. I have a house to prep because my brother is coming with my niece and everyone else to pop on over because they're going to Disney. I think, maybe, who knows. Anywho's, and I think it is a good time for us to end our stream here. Thank you guys so much for joining us as we draw a bunch of blobby-like characters, all that other kind of fun stuff. Follow our socials, and of course, post on our community tabs, our socials. Use hashtag #RollForHero to show off the awesome alien designs that you've done for this Sandalpunk setting. We're going to end it here. So to all the nieces, nephews, and everyone else in between, make sure to stay awesome, stay weird, keep life to the easiest. Remember that art inspires all. You can inspire more. But until then, your uncles love you, and stay ultra.
Roll for hero!
And even if you were to have like a prompt of 10 different things, right? Like say if you had one prompt of like, oh, like here's 10 different personality traits, here's 10 different superpowers, here's 10 different drawbacks.
I like coming up with random list of powers and then just see what I come up with.
Imagine rolling just those things every single time. It's always going to vary. The possibility of that happening is again like a 1 in 10 chance, but it's like it shows that there's an infinite possibility.
Always something else